up, Ian. And Will, hand up, Will. It had to be you. From God Savage. So I'm very pleased to meet you.
And you too, man.
Thank you. Well, I understand you're based in and around Manchester. How have our paths not crossed before? Well, you must be in a completely opposite end of Manchester to me. And I do visit the opposite end, so where are you?
Well, I'm still up north. Willie's now down south, but we've been around Manchester for years.
Yes, well, we've not got each other.
So,
I can ask how old you are, but did you ever go to Rock World?
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
We've bumped into each other on a dance floor.
And interestingly, you should say that. We played there, and we're looking at a live recording to be released from Rock World. Rock World.
Have you ever been to any of the Rock World reunions?
I'm on the Facebook pages and stuff.
That's not the same.
I haven't been really.
Yeah, I went to Rock World.
Have you? And Banshee as well. That was another good place for you, Scott.
Where?
Banshee.
I don't know that. That must be before I moved here.
What was Rock World, isn't it? Because it was Jilly's.
No.
And then Jilly's upstairs. Banshee.
I knew it as Rock World. Some people just knew it as Jilly's, and for me it was.
No, I will tell you officially. So the Rock World was originally Jilly's.
Yeah.
Fagan's Jilly's. They went to Rock World. Banshee is up the road underneath the Indian restaurant. And Banshee, fantastic.
Okay, I don't know that one.
It's on the right hand side, Oxford Street. So if you came out of Rock World, you go to the right.
Let's go to the Ritz.
No. The Banshee, it's gone now. It's completely gone now. But the Banshee, completely separate club.
I think this is before my time.
Maybe. Yeah.
Not that I'm saying you're older than me, but you might be. So yeah. So you're North Manchester then?
Yeah. So I'm based up towards Lancashire. So it's towards Preston.
Okay. What about you, Will?
Yeah, well, I'm from Bury,
okay.
And so in the 80s, 90s, I was there all the time. Played all over the place around Bury, around Manchester, and that's where the whole of Gone Savage really started in Manchester. We all our fan base was around there, but then we kind of separated, and now I've moved down south, so I'm about as far south away as I could get in Bournemouth.
Yeah, lovely. Okay.
Yeah,
well, I don't blame you for moving there.
But thanks to the wonders of modern technology, we can still be a band together.
Yeah. So you describe your music as rock with a modern melodic feel, together with a hard edge and tight underbelly. Now, I read this and thought, tight underbelly, that's what we all want this time of year, isn't it? Nice tight underbelly.
This time of year.
That's a dream.
I'm quite pleased with how mine's going. Yeah, I've started a new fitness, routine, and the underbelly's definitely getting tighter. So, can't ask for more than that, can you?
I've just ordered a low-calorie beer.
You said you've been around since the early 90s with other band members. So let's start at the beginning. How did you come up with the band name to begin with? Gone Savage. Have you always been called that, or has that changed over the years?
It kind of we started from members of other bands around at the time, and one band that is still around, which is Dare.
Okay, yes, I've heard Dare.
We had the drummer Jim Ross out of Dare, and Ian was in another band with the original guitarist called Sweet Sin, and I was in a band called Sam Thunder, all relatively well-known bands around Manchester. We were all it was the height of the 80s kind of hair metal AOR scene. And when we all got together and decided that we were a little bit heavier than that, we wanted to go down a harder route. And Gone Savage came up somewhere in one of the first rehearsals, and we thought, that sounds pretty good. We've gone from being AOR to Gone Savage, so I think that's where it came from, unless I remember it completely wrong. Is that right, Ian?
No, I think you coined the phrase as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
we did. Yeah, because it just sat and it was right, and we stuck with it ever since. I mean, you do get some people think, oh, is it that black metal? What's in a name, isn't it? So it's kind of.
It's not black metal just by looking at the name and the logo. If you can read it, it's not black metal. Yeah.
Just like we're in a band called Gone Savage, you would envisage all kinds of like debauchery and young children being slain, that kind of thing, but not quite.
Not quite, no.
We're heavier than we think we are, though, sometimes, because we played at that Hard Rock Hell, didn't we? And but the AOR version. And I felt like we were the heaviest band there by quite a long way.
shocked, weren't they?
Yeah, they were a bit, yeah.
But it's like what we said about the description, and that it's got that melodic feel. So even though we might grind out a really heavy section, because I'm a big fan of Alice in Chains, so the Gone Savage was around that time. You've got loads of melody, loads of melodic stuff that Will does, genius, and it just takes it to a different place. So you've got to listen to it all. You really have to can't take snippets really. Doesn't work.
So the writing's done between the two of you, and production all in-house, from what I can gather. Yeah. So you get musicians in to do live shows.
Correct.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Do you usually stick to the same musicians? Do you have sort of a preferred lineup, or is it whoever's available at the time?
Yeah, it can be that. And I mean, at the moment, I'm looking at trying to find a more fixed model, because it does work, but it's also, especially with this climate where nobody knows what they're doing. So I've had to have people that we've used, say, on the recording of the album. We can't commit. So it's a kind of as a chicken and egg. We need people, but we can't always get people. And retaining good people is so much harder than it ever was. So, but I'm hoping to work more towards a more stable lineup. So the answer to the question is, yes, we might have to bring people in, and there may well be different people, but we'd like to keep some continuity.
Okay. Now, what can you tell us about your 12-track album, PastLife? This is your debut album.
It is. So
okay.
We spent.
Go on.
We spent probably about best part of 2 years. So I write the music. It's a bit of the old. What's the composers? Will one writes the music, one does the lyrics. A bit of an Elton John, Bernie talking.
Elton John and Bernie. Yeah.
So Will does all that side of things. I write all the material.
I guess that makes you Elton. Are you sure you're happy with that?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with my lifestyle, and basically I do all the written kind of musical elements, and then I do the production, the engineering. Gets to a level where I say, look, I can't go any further. Will have done his melodies. Will would have done his kind of basic arrangement. I then go out to other people who can play things better. And as, for instance, on this album, we've got young Sam Miller from ex-Bigfoot, Sass Bandits. So Sam's helped out on a few tracks, and it takes it to another level. So that's the model. So it's like I create, and then we develop, and then we work it towards a production. Now this time we've taken it to a chap called David Rahdad Jones in Red City Recording in Manchester. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. So he does lots of bands in the Manchester area. He mixes everything for me. So he would get hold of all my engineering and mix it. And then we pass it on to a guy called Pete Marr to do the mastering. And he works in London, does loads of artists from Killers to U2. So that's where most of the polishing comes in. And that's how it comes about.
When are you due to release the album? I don't seem to be able to find a date for this. So do you have a date for release?
Our date in mind we'd like to get it over the line by May this year, but we're trying to negotiate a physical release. I can do a digital release, but it's not something that I would like to do. So I'm looking to get some support. The support's very important. I mean, as you know yourself, you tend to do 10 jobs as one. So like from social media to, in my case, writing songs, I can't keep doing that. So I need to get some support in place. If we go down a digital route, then I would have thought May, latest, April, May, we'll release. But we'd like to try and secure some services. So we're currently in negotiation.
You have already released, though, some of the singles, haven't you? About 2 or 3 or 4 of them? 3, I think?
There's 3
different
released. Yeah. So they've been redone and remastered, remixed for the album, and also rearranged as well. So the first single that myself and Will did from this new release of Gone Savage was Bulletproof. Yeah. And then we had Louder Than the Sun and Love Caught Me Out. Yeah. So yes, they will reappear, but they have been redone and they have been edited and reworked. So the arrangements is different as well. So, but it gives the guys a listener a flavour of what to expect.
Yeah. Now, are you planning on touring when you do finally release the album? Because I know things have been very difficult for everybody, you know, during the last couple of years. Are you able to now put some dates in the diary and, you know, keep your fingers crossed?
It kind of goes back to what I said before, and regards personnel. It's one of those things that a lot of the guys that will follow you will be in the same boat where it's DIY. So at this moment in time, our biggest focus is pushing the album out.
Yeah.
And then I will start looking at personnel to do the gigs. Now, I used to work with a lot of bands, people like Gorilla Riots and Royal Black and people like that. And it's about a year out. So even now, we're looking at gigs for next year. So I'm doing my utmost to get some in this year, but I think there'll be festivals. It won't be. I don't think it could be a tour because I'm just not in the right place to be able to organise that just yet. So we'll probably do some festivals, and then we'll probably work towards a tour, hopefully, at the back end of the year, if we can.
I don't know which festivals you have in mind, but have you thought about the issue you might have trying to get onto a festival that was cancelled previously and is having to stick to that lineup? You know, not every band on that lineup will be able to do the new dates.
It's very difficult.
How are you going to how are you going to try and work around that?
It's a very good question, that, because I mean, as time goes and people can't make certain commitments, and then it's a case for ourselves is that if it's a backstop arrangement where they say, "Come on, guys, come and play," dreaming a bit, Bloodstock, Donington. Of course, you'd drop everything, you'd make it work. But generally speaking, you couldn't actually manoeuvre that on a like last minute for a cancellation. You've got to have preparation in place, and as I said, our model isn't that flexible to be able to just go, "Yeah, we'll turn up tomorrow." It doesn't quite work like that. No. So it's difficult, especially at this moment where you don't know where the opportunities are, and naturally, people are going to be honouring things from a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's
That's why we're looking for a more stable lineup, isn't it, Ian?
Absolutely,
100%. So we can be ready to go at the drop of a hat like that.
Yeah. And like I said, this is all part of the plan from the album. And I know it's not traditional, and most things are all in place. But there's obviously from a DIY point of view, there's an economic argument there that, you know, I couldn't just possibly set all the rats running, doing the PR, doing the social media, doing the marketing, doing the engineering. We can't afford it. No. So because we need to be able to generate income, and this is through hopefully get land in a physical CD and tour and things thereafter to promote it. It's tough out there.
Looking forward a bit further than this year, what are your long-term goals with Gone Savage?
Go on, Will.
Oof.
Go on, Will.
Well.
Will.
Speak up, now's your chance.
You want to be a millionaire, mate, don't you?
What are our long-term
this is my
goals?
next year, we'll all be millionaires.
Yeah.
I just want to pay the milk bill.
Go on, Will, tell us.
Well, you know, we've already written a lot of songs that we haven't put on this album. I mean, me and Ian are quite prolific at writing songs, and we've got another side project as well called Revolution at the Zephyr, which is more on the lighter side of rock. And so certain songs that we write fall into that, and then other songs are into Gone Savage. And, you know, I'd like to think, you know, we've kind of flirted with a record company that have offered us a 2-album deal, and that would be something that I think we would try to kind of go down that road, because I think we've definitely got it in us to do another album, certainly. But I would definitely want more, you know, like I said, a more stable lineup where we could then go out and tour and play live. You know, that'll be my long-term ideal, that we've got another album to aim at and live work, because that's where it is really, isn't it? You know, playing live, you can't beat it.
Yeah. Okay, so assuming you get the lineup all in place, nice and stable, do you consider there to be any barriers to success or achieving what you want?
I suppose it's how you measure it. I mean, for myself and Will, and, you know, with the wrong end of this career, you know, path, and we're not silly to not admit that. So I'd like to be able to sort of like say, well, look, we'll go and play these festivals, these nice festivals. We'll go and play to people who want to come and see us. You know, that's the kind of reward that we're looking at. So it's not a monetary thing, but what we'd like to do it at a good level. When we played live, obviously we've not played live that much recently. We do not blowing my trumpet, a good job. So we put a lot of effort into it. It's not just your your meat and two veg. This can be production. This can be like using like different lighting on stage, different backing tracks even if need be. This is the whole production. So we like to look at it as a show, a full show. So be able to do things like that. That's what we're looking at. So enjoyable things, writing music, recording music. Monetary wise, I'm personally of no interest. I've got a proper job. Music is so emotive, but in reality, there's only a few ever make money out of it and make a career out of it.
Yeah,
there's lots of people who do have a career, but with respect, it's just above okay in my eye.
Yeah, I think we both like the process, and I love Ian sending me an idea and developing that idea, and it ends up as a song. And sometimes you don't even know where it's going until it's finished, and it's almost a surprise that it's come out like that. Wow, and I didn't have high hopes for this one, but it sounds really brilliant. And then you want other people to hear it. That's my frustration. That then you think, why? God, I'd love a lot of people to be able to hear this because I think it's really good. And maybe I'm deluded, who knows, possibly, but you want to be able to share it with people, and and especially again live, you get that instant feedback from people.
Well, look, it's been really lovely chatting to you two. I hope everyone will go and check out your new album as soon as it's available, and check you guys out. So yeah, I hope to see you at a festival this year. I'm at 6 or 7 of them, so be lovely to bump into you.
Yes, thank you very much, Jan. And really nice to catch up after.
After all the emails.
A long time.
This is rock and roll, burning out to my soul.